Multiplication and division with complex numbers written in trigonometric form is pretty easy. Let's look at the first problem. We want to multiply 7 times the quantity cosine 110 plus I sine 110 times 8 cosine 47 plus I sine 47. Multiply two numbers written in trigonometric form. Very easy. We multiply their absolute values, 7 times 8, and we add the angles. Cosine 110 plus 47 plus I sine 110 plus 47. You don't have to actually show that step. 7 times 8 is 56. Cosine, let me put parentheses in here, 110 plus 47 is 157 degrees plus I sine 157 degrees. So, to multiply two complex numbers in trigonometric form, we multiply their absolute values and we add the angles. So 110 plus 47 is 157, and 7 times 8 is 56. Real nice, easy way to multiply numbers. Let's look at division. I want to divide this complex number by this complex number. It's very easy to do so. I'll just divide absolute values. It'll be 18 divided by 12, cosine of, and I'll subtract angles. 51 degrees minus 32 degrees plus I sine of 51 degrees minus 32 degrees. And let's put brackets around that. So I divide the absolute values and I subtract the angles, where the angle in the numerator comes first minus the angle in the denominator. Now let's see, 18 divided by 12, I'll reduce to lowest terms. That looks like 3 halves, or 1.5. I'll write it as 3 halves times cosine. 51 subtract 32, what's that, 19 degrees? Plus I times the sine of 19 degrees. So, division, very similar to multiplication, except we divide absolute values and subtract angles. Let's look at one last problem where we take a complex number and raise it to a power. We want to simplify negative square root 3 plus I all raised to the 4th power. Now I can just do this problem with algebra by multiplying negative square root 3 plus I times itself 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I use it as a factor 4 times. But it will be actually easier to do if we first convert to trigonometric form. So first of all, let me find R. R is equal to the square root of x squared, which will be 3, plus y squared. Well, y is 1, squared is 1. Square root of 3 plus 1 is the square root of 4, so I end up with 2. Now to find theta, I'll do this. Cosine of theta is going to be equal to x, negative square root 3, over 2, and the sine of theta is going to be equal to 1 divided by 2, so 1/2. So this tells me that the reference angle for theta is 30 degrees. I can look over here and see that since cosine is negative and sine is positive, I must be in quadrant number 2 with a reference angle of 30 degrees. That tells me that theta itself must be equal to 150 degrees. So now I have R and I have theta for my complex number right here, so I can write it in trigonometric form. 2 cosine 150 plus I sine 150 all raised to the 4th power. Now the raising to the 4th power is going to be very simple. So I'll write my complex number in trigonometric form as 2 times cosine 150 degrees plus I sine 150 degrees. Now I want to take this number right here and raise it to the 4th power. Well, I know from my work with complex numbers and multiplication that to raise this complex number to the 4th power, it's 2 raised to the 4th power times cosine of 150 times 4, which is going to be 600 degrees, plus I sine of 600 degrees. So now I have 2 to the 4th, which is going to be 16. Cosine 600, what I'm going to do with my 600 right here is subtract out 1 complete revolution, or 360 degrees. That will leave me with 600 minus 360, which should be 240. So let's just write a little simpler form. Cosine of 240 degrees plus I times the sine of 240 degrees. Now, if I wanted to, at this point, switch back to standard form, I'll simply write down cosine 240 and sine 240, multiply that out, and I'll have my complex number in standard form. But you can see if I want to raise this to an exponent, let's say 4, 5, 6, or higher, what I do is I take my complex number, find r and theta so I can write it in trigonometric form. Then once I have it in trigonometric form, raising to a power is real simple. I simply raise the absolute value to that power and multiply the angle by that power. So there's a look at multiplication, division, and raising to powers with complex numbers written in trigonometric form.